It really does feel like there's been nothing but negativity surrounding Naughty Dog's latest IP, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, since it was announced at the Game Awards a couple weeks ago. And it really doesn't help that this is the first major IP created by Neil Druckmann, where he's the sole creative force surrounding it, especially since he's even stated in the past that his goal is to use games as a springboard in order to push his own personal political agenda. And when you see a character like this in the game, it really doesn't instill much confidence in the audience, who are just hoping for a form of escapism without being reminded of current day politics. And kind of adding fuel to the fire is the actress for this, because she shared this post on her own personal Instagram story, but she added the caption, "You mad, bro?" I got this tweet pulled up, so you can see it right here. Fragile masculinity, 100% incel tears, so DEI-licious, you mad, bro. Now, she didn't make this cartoon. Like I said, she just shared it, but added this caption to it. And when I saw this, I thought it was kind of funny because I like bad puns. So I thought it was clever. It's a decent enough design, but this isn't really a smart thing to do when people are automatically thinking, just given the design that they've already seen from the character, as well as past statements by Neil Druckmann, that this is just going to be a cringe woke game. And then when you have the actress sharing this out, it's like, okay, I guess it's kind of confirming that's the avenue that they're going for. And when I say a game is woke, I'm not saying because they have like a bald female character or something like that. When I say something is woke, what I generally mean is a lot of these identity politic elements take priority over everything else, including quality. And that also is reflected in the people that the studio is hiring. So they're not necessarily hiring the best people for the job. They're hiring the best people who check the right boxes for them. So when people pointed out that games that have kind of gone the woke route have failed, and they're like, well, it's not failed because of those elements. It fails because of, I don't know, other technical issues. There was problems with the graphics. The UI design wasn't very good, or the mission design was bad, and the writing wasn't good. And it's like, yeah, there's those other legitimate elements to it. But I think those games have those problems with them because the studio was not hiring the best people for the job. And when you see this kind of at the forefront of your game itself, it kind of indicates that this is where the studio's going. Like I saying with Naughty Dog, they have a pretty decent track record within gaming, but the people who've worked on a lot of those classics in the past aren't necessarily the same people working at Naughty Dog. This is Naughty Dog under Neil Druckmann. He got rid of a lot of the old people there, and he brought in a lot of new people who agree with him politically. And I'm just saying that maybe they're not necessarily the best ones for the job, but that's purely speculation at this point. Until the game comes out, we won't know for sure. But the backlash surrounding this game has been so severe, to the point where even the like to dislike ratio on the YouTube trailer for it has gotten worse than what we saw with Concord, a game that came out this last year that was so terrible. Sony pretty much pulled the plug on it almost immediately after launch and lost hundreds of millions of dollars on it. Intergalactic hits new low as Backlash continues. Since its reveal at the Game Awards, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, a brand new IP from PlayStation and Naughty Dog, has been one of the talks of the industry, though mostly for negative reasons. Instantly, the game received backlash for various reasons. For starters, some have a bone to pick with Naughty Dog ever since The Last of Us Part 2 and its own controversy. And just kind of fill in people who don't really remember that or weren't there for when this happened. A lot of the controversy surrounding The Last of Us Part 2 is because of the false marketing campaigns where they're trying to portray a game that wasn't necessarily what they were actually making. Mainly how Joel's being more involved in what he was. And then before the game came out, there was leaks that were saying that no, Joel's going to be killed off really early on in the game and you're playing as these other characters. And when those leaks came out, a lot of people didn't like that. And they're like, well, if that's the case, I'm not going to buy the game. I'm going to wait for the game to come out because I don't want to play it if that's how it actually is. Neil Druckmann then started copyright striking YouTube channels who were even talking about it, not showing anything illegal, but they were just talking about these rumors and reporting on these rumors, like, you know, something that people do and are allowed to do. He was lying on the YouTube copyright system in order to try to get those videos taken down, which is something that's illegal, by the way. And then when the game finally came out, it turned out those rumors were 100% true. There were some leaks surrounding this game as well. The story didn't sound too great. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't know if Naughty Dog is going to be doing the same thing and trying to copyright strike those. But I haven't really heard a whole lot about that. So maybe that's not going to be the case, but still I'm going to try to play it a little bit safe because I'm weary about Neil Druckmann when it comes to this sort of thing. Even though my channel is so small and insignificant, I doubt anyone of note will actually see this, but I don't know. Stranger things have happened, I guess. That's why there's a lot of controversy when it came to The Last of Us Part 2, not because people didn't like the game, although that is true. Just as kind of a quick aside, a lot of people will point out like the sales figures for The Last of Us Part 2 when it first launched because it was a highly anticipated game, a follow-up to a game that a lot of people loved. But you don't really hear a whole lot of sales figures being reported by the media after the first month or so, and that's because the sales for that game just fell off a cliff and you were seeing it being put on the bargain shelves and stuff because a lot of people really didn't like The Last of Us Part 2, at least not nearly as much as the first game. Naughty Dog has also been the crown jewel of PlayStation over the last decade, so it in particular gets sucked into the console war campaigns. The majority of the backlash, though, seems to be focused on the game's protagonist, who has clearly not resonated with a sizable amount of the intended audience. And like I said, the appearance of the character doesn't necessarily mean the game is going the woke route, but statements or posts shared by the actress and past statements by Neil Druckmann does suggest that that's what they're doing. It's just a matter of whether the game could be good. Despite all of that is pretty much the question here. Adding fuel to the fire was a recent comments from Tati Gabriella, who plays said protagonist, who chimed in on the controversy. Okay, so I talked about that. Showed you the post that she shared. At the time of its reveal, Intergalactic was receiving more dislikes than likes on YouTube. The gap has only widened since. To this end, right now, the reveal trailer on PlayStation has 262,000 dislikes to 98,000 likes. Meanwhile, the trailer on Naughty Dog, where the comments have been turned off, has 69,000 likes and 169,000 dislikes. And it's just kind of telling when it comes to Naughty Dog because they didn't have the comments turned on at all for their trailer. Almost it suggests that they expected audiences not to like it. And if they're expecting audiences not to like it, then they probably shouldn't be making the game to begin with. But again, this comes back to Neil Druckmann, who doesn't care about making good quality games. He just cares about pushing his own political agenda, regardless of whether or not the game succeeds or fails. And some people have even tried to say, which I think is kind of a dumb argument, but they're saying like, well, if you're an artist, then you shouldn't care about what other people are saying. You should just focus on doing what you want to make, and it doesn't matter what other people think about it. It's like, okay, fine. If you want to say Neil Druckmann is just an artist producing a game that he wants to make and push his own agenda, and it doesn't matter what other people think about it, well, then that's fine. You can make that argument, but then you can't try to defend it when it fails because it's not a game that's meant to be successful. It's meant to push his own agenda. And if that's really all he tries to do, then yes, he can succeed by pushing his own agenda. But then a lot of people can point out, well, yeah, but you pushed your own agenda. People rejected it. The game failed. And that's a separate issue entirely. So I don't really understand that line of talk there, but I don't know. It's something I've heard. So I felt like I should address it at the very least. To put these numbers into perspective, they eclipse Concord YouTube dislikes and are proportionally pretty similar. For comparison, the Concord reveal trailer has 41,000 dislikes to 7,600 likes. It got even worse by the time the gameplay trailer released, which has 8,500 likes to 89,000 dislikes. Where the writing was instantly on the wall for Concord, clear to everyone but PlayStation executives, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet is a different story. While the controversy surrounding the game is going to go nowhere, if it is as good as Naughty Dog's previous work, it's probably going to be fine. However, this is in doubt, a rough start for the life of the PlayStation 5 game. Like I pointed out already, I don't think this really previous Naughty Dog games factor into this at all because this is a completely different team working on it when compared to those ones. So you almost have to treat this as a brand new studio making a brand new IP, and it's looking like this. So do you think that would succeed if it was any other studio producing it outside of Naughty Dog? unlikely. The reason this game has even a slight chance of being successful is because of the Naughty Dog name. But we've seen this last year, names of studios and names of big IPs really don't matter. Dragon Age The Veilguard is a prime example of that. BioWare produced that game. Dragon Age is a beloved IP, and that failed miserably because people are tired of a lot of this identity politics being shoved into their games. They want it as a form of escapism, and they don't want to just be lectured at whenever they're playing it. And it's possible a game could still succeed despite all of that, but it still has a bigger bar to clear when it comes to that sort of thing. And Naughty Dog making the game like this isn't doing themselves any favor. But well, like I said, if Neil Druckmann is just trying to push his own agenda and he doesn't care about actual sales, then fine, he can continue on this route. So if it doesn't succeed, you don't need to try to defend it and try to say like, oh, well, the game was good. It's just the chuds didn't like it or whatever. It's like, no, people are allowed to disagree. He gives his opinion. I'm saying Neil Druckmann gives his opinion. People can disagree with that. And let's just leave it at that. It's fine if you don't like this game, that's okay. If you're someone, when it comes out that you do like it, all right, fine. Me personally, I don't know whether the game's going to be good or not. I mean, we've only seen the trailer. Right now, by all accounts, it doesn't look good for it. But maybe when we see more, it might change my mind a little bit. Maybe when the game actually comes out, there's elements to it that are much better, and it is good despite all this stuff. But like I said, I think it's fair to say that just judging by the first trailer, I think the reaction is a pretty strong indicator that this game's going to have a tough time actually being successful. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.